Now recently, Nintendo showed off some new and exciting stuff during the first Nintendo Direct of 2022. While we didn't get anything on, Breath of the Wild 2, we did see something else that certainly captured my imagination and attention. Brand new Mario Kart tracks for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. In the upcoming Booster Course Pass, a shocking amount will be added. The pack includes 12 additional cups for a total of 48 new courses, all of which are remastered versions of older ones, including Mario Kart Tour. Now, it is said to be released in 6 waves, and they should be done by the end of 2023, with the first one coming out on March 18th, 2022. However, today we will take a look at 5 tracks that I want to see, and these aren't your run-of-the-mill Mario Kart race tracks. We will be looking at the most brutal tracks they could possibly add to the game. So, let's jump right in. Number 5. Now for our first track, we will take a look at a place I wouldn't really call a real racetrack, but actually an arena of sorts. A place where racers duel each other while also avoiding countless obstacles in their way that are just trying to kill them. I'm talking about Waluigi Stadium, a track that bears a striking resemblance to a dirt bike course, with some, slightly insane twists. You know, the usual stuff we see during any race, like fire chains, fire bars, and giant wooden piranha plants that you can crash into. As you can imagine, all these things aren't very fun to deal with. You're constantly dodging fireballs and wooden planks with piranha plants painted on them. This stuff can become quite frustrating quite fast, especially when other players are nipping at your heels by throwing items at you. But you can also annoy other players when you get a load of bananas, because placing those at the area where you find the piranha plants can really make things tricky for anyone that comes after you. And so this track can be quite tricky, and that's mostly because of all the hellish contraptions found in this arena. Now sure, if this track was actually seen in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it would be easier, because the handling and steering in that game is a lot smoother and more refined compared to Double Dash. But still, it would be a nice addition, and it would certainly be one of the harder tracks in the game. Number 4. Now, as you can see, the new track we will talk about isn't normal. It is actually haunted. Woo! Yeah, alright, it's not that scary, but still this track can be a real struggle for even the best racers. I'm talking about Banshee Boardwalk, a haunted place with horrors most do not dare to imagine. Oh yeah, and also a bunch of hard turns, twists, and foes, of course, that will mess up your race. Oh yeah, and also a bunch of hard turns, twists, and foes, of course, that will mess up your race. It kind of resembles the Ghost Valley course from Super Mario Kart in terms of overall theme and layout, but it's a lot harder. The race begins on a boardwalk with some guardrails missing and a giant Cheep Cheep jumps out of the water. But sadly enough, he doesn't really do anything. Now, during this section, you will have to deal with some tricky turns where you can easily fall off. And then in the second half, you go into an abandoned building where bats fly at you, which lowers your speed. So in the end, there are a lot of things that can change the outcome of a race. You can easily fall off or get hit by those bats and lose a significant amount of time. Aside from that, there's just a lot of stuff in this level that distracts you, like the Cheep Cheep, the boos who obscure your view, and more. It can be hard to focus, especially if this is your first time ever going through this track. So I think it can be quite punishing, and it would be a great addition to the game. Number 3. Now, I have a lot of fond memories of the GameCube. I grew up with it together with the Game Boy, and so there are a lot of tracks in Double Dash that I absolutely love. And one of them that always annoyed me as a kid is DK Mountain. And now that I'm in my 20s, I gotta say, it can still be a huge challenge. The course takes place along 2 volcanoes in the middle of the jungle, and it is quite the roller coaster ride. You go through a giant barrel cannon. The course itself is complex. It contains several curly paths, dangerous tight turns, and an uneven ground where drifting is difficult to control. Especially in Double Dash, this track could be nightmarish. And you really notice this when you're going down the mountain after being shot out of the cannon. When you're going through that portion, you first have to deal with the most bumpy and uneven ground ever seen in the Mario Kart franchise. And then you are faced with the ultimate challenge, a series of incredibly tight turns that get harder and harder with each one. Oh, and there's also a huge boulder that kind of wants to crush you. That also doesn't help with this portion. In general, all of this is just, hell to deal with. I think the improved handling and steering from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will help to an extent, but still, it won't be easy. Number 2. Now, there are a lot of different versions of Bowser's Castle in the Mario Kart games. There are like a billion of them. However, there's one that is incredibly tricky that's not seen in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yet. Well, I hope they add this one, you know? I'm talking about Bowser's Castle DS, which is based on Bowser's Castle from Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Super Circuit. But this one is even harder than those two combined, in my opinion, because it features a few new gimmicks. For example, a rotating cylindrical bridge, a small chamber with a spinning floor, and 4 moving platforms above a portion of a large lava pit. All of this adds huge amounts of difficulty to this level. It even gives other racers some fun options to mess with you. For example, by pushing you off the rotating cylindrical bridge or moving platforms. Both would give you a huge setback, and all of this makes this another brutal track that can really piss you off if you mess up, or others cause you to mess up. Number 1. Welcome, my child. You're in heaven because you have died in the most dangerous and insane Mario Kart track ever.
Moonview Highway.
This place literally makes me sad and happy at the same time because I kind of like the craziness, but it is so much more stressful than Toad's Turnpike. This track takes place in and around a lit-up city at night with a full moon overhead. Overall, a pretty nice setting, right? Well, yeah. However, you don't have time to focus on any of that because this city is alive. There are cars driving around everywhere, and mixed in between, you even have bomb cars that can explode upon contact. This makes Moonview Highway really hard, and Nintendo even added boosts in certain sections, which are tempting to use because you will go a lot faster, which is kind of the goal of Mario Kart. However, you also have a higher chance of crashing into something when using one of these boosts, especially when you go around a corner. Really, this place is hell to deal with. If you don't watch out, you will be run over and die. And so I bet this track would be very fun to see in the new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell button. All that stupid stuff Nintendo, like YouTube wants nowadays. Also, tell me in the comments down below what you think about me going back to the old format. This is like, you know, before I did all the skit, more story, pop culture stuff. Let me know what you think.